Alright, I got a lot to cover, so I'm going to do this verbally because I can cover more and you can listen easier. Okay, so let's talk about accountability. Uh, I'm the only one having to account for anything. I'm the one that produced the thing that generated all this. I'm just assuming that, I'm just gonna, accountability and accounting is the thing that runs through everything. Okay, it's the common theme in everything. I'm having to account every Monday for pre-trial. Now, the other side, we're going to get to that. The other side hasn't had to account for anything, and my agent, my attorney, supposed to be acting on my behalf, has failed to do anything. I mean, she hasn't done like I've been asking for the same. It's not like I've changed the request. It's the same thing I've been asking for, like since the beginning, and they still haven't produced it. So that's the common theme throughout everything. I'm going to show you examples of that happening over and over with different people. The latest is, this is fascinating. It's fascinating actually, but it's all directed at me. You know, I'm the one that's bearing the burden on all this. The other side hasn't accounted, and that's all I've been asking for. You know, it's not like I've been asking. It's not like they've provided the accounting already, and I just keep harassing them. I mean, that's what they would like for you to believe. In fact, they would love for you to believe that they've provided everything, and I'm just haven't, because they haven't provided anything. It's amazing, is what it is. It's because the number of different people that are doing that. And like I was talking about earlier, that's not rational. People are individual people, generally. I mean, there's the effect of a mob and all that. But, I was making the example that, you're out at a bar and your buddy's drunk and he's getting in a fight, but by being a dumbass. He's being irrational. But generally, everybody else, the other people around on both sides are rational, and they say, shut up. That's a micro example of that. But in this instance, it's not like that. It's the reverse. Everybody is irrational at the same time. And I'm the only, though I've been gaslighted, and I learned what that term is, and that's exactly what's been happening to me by my mother, most notably, but several other people are doing the same shit, saying I need to go to behavioral and what have you. We're going to refer to that. Let me refer to that video. But anyway, I've got a new one. On that one. Since my mom has generously offered to take me to behavioral that day, but when I was asking for the accounting, and my mom now won't account for what she told the police, for Christ's sake. My mother, I have to get a subpoena to get my mom to tell me what happened. Is that natural? Like, I don't think an infant in the, when's the last time you subpoenaed your mom is what I'm getting at. I bet that's not a high percentage. Anyway, I have to subpoena my mom to get her to tell me what happened. The snafu that ended up with me walking in Tallahassee for a week. That first night, I slept under the eave of a not a mausoleum, but I guess it was. It was a grave. I mean, it was somebody's. They were dead there. But I was fascinated though. It's interesting. It's right there at the Old Town Cemetery in Tallahassee. If you want to get out Google Maps, it's just a little bit north of the, it's east of the Florida State, right there. Right by the bus station where my grandmother met my grandfather. What a coincidence. I mean, this is fascinating. If I live long enough, I can write a book on this. I mean, it's like once people see and read really, what's nice. There's nobody that's looked at the evidence and said, nah. You know what I'm saying? I think there's a large number of people that have received a material benefit. If I'm just guessing at that. But I digress. Anyway, let's tie this back to my granddaddy. The man. And I know I'm sounding chipper here, but it's only because I don't know why, but it's been brutal, man. It's been a siege. But like for example, last week's Super Bowl Sunday, I'm looking at Facebook and I'm freezing cold in the car. I guess cold, and I don't have enough, whatever. I'm cold in the car and hungry because I didn't, because my mom has me blocked, by the way, and we're gonna delve into that a little bit. If my mom, I think just by I'm guessing at this, but I think it's an educated guess that my mom is telling people that, like she's been hooking me up all summer, and then like, how did I? No, I mean that's not true. I've stayed. I don't even know what I don't remember what it's like to stay in a bed really. I did it twice at my mom's house. Once in, I guess it was in end of June. And then, I was thrown out then. You heard that conversation. The Burke or whatever. It's the interview with me and Pat and Harry, in which we learned that, bless Burke, when I caught Rob Blue off guard, when he's committing fraud is what he's doing right there for everybody. That's why they haven't pursued the fact that I recorded the call. Because to do that, they're just going to be, by doing that, they're going to be saying, hey, look at this thing right here where I'm committing fraud, but I want to really go after this dude for recording that. Even though it's not like we were out there cooking hot dogs, drinking a beer. He called up as a representative of Burke Blue. So it's going to be difficult for them to keep up the facade. I mean, there's layers of defense around Lynn. The first, and I recognize patterns between them now. I'm good at it. Well, whatever. That's whatever. But I do notice either that or they're playing checkers because they do the same shit over and over. An example of that, I'll throw a couple out there. Well, there's expert to novice. That's when, you can be for Lynn can advise me and send me an email saying, I remember it. It says, I think it would be helpful to show you an inventory of acreage. Now, mind you, that I'm the technology dude. Out of the two of us, I thought I was the tech dude. Lynn is, and I'm also the accounting dude. I didn't know I was going to receive a lecture from Lynn about what an inventory looks like, for one thing. But he's an expert on that. And then, the next day, when I say, let me see the emails, y'all. All of a sudden, he's a novice at that point. Okay, that's expert to novice. Let's see, my mom can do it. My mom can advise me on the timing and she falsely, she thinks that she won't have to answer questions that I have under oath before that we get to the trial. She doesn't know that, or she doesn't think she can be compelled to do that. But then, that's a false. But then, this in the second, going back to novice, that's an expert right there. But going to novice, I was actually with her. She just has to avoid the subject because she knows that I know. Me and her have been knowing each other for a long time, and she knows when I got her. So it's not that, but she's trying to be expert to novice. Well, Harry does it. He can field the call from Les Burke, in fact. And this is how Les Burke and them are all cooked. And that's because they ratified it. Les Burke didn't, when Les Burke called Harry, Les Burke knows what I said to Rob Blue, or else he wouldn't have been. That's what the subject of the phone call is. That's what Harry says, that's the only thing that they talked about. In fact, the only reason for the phone call was the subject of my call to Rob. Now, to Rob Blue. His partner, by the way, and partners are agents of the partnership reciprocally, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just going to check real quick here if I'm still recording. I hope so. Okay, cool. Okay, I'm going to take a pause here. We were talking about expert to novice. Let me just continue. I'll finish this point. Les Burke didn't. He knows about he knows what I said. So the fact that they didn't both between them, Les Burke is out there acting as agent for the partnership or whatever structure that they have. He's an agent out there he's trying to find out if things are still okay with Harry. Okay. Now, Harry at that point is an expert. He's assuming that role just by answering the question and not saying, hey, this is what they would have done if it was legitimate. They would have said, hey, I don't know. Let's call Lance. He knows. He's the one that wrote the program. He'll know more about this than I do. That's the perfect expert to novice right there. He goes from being able to negotiate whether things were okay on my behalf, just not even notifying me about it. Like, I got this one. It's like, I made the comparison, but it's worse. It's not just your house. It's like 1,000 houses. It's like the kids. It's like the opposing attorney calls the house, and he negotiates with the children, like the kids, like the kindergartner kids that don't even know what a mortgage is. That's what Harry doesn't know. He knows that it's about oil. That's all he knows. You think there's any chance that he might leave something on the table in that negotiate? You want that guy out there negotiating the position. Well, that's what happened to me. Anyway, in Les Burke, he wasn't like, hey, let's holler at Lance and see what he thinks, though. He didn't do that. All the efforts have been to conceal that knowledge from me. Okay? Nobody's produced anything yet, getting back to that accountability thing. Nobody's showed me anything. So, by doing that, though, Mr. Burke has just assumed a liability. He ratified it. He has, even if your agent goes out there and does some bullshit, if you don't do anything about it, then you're saying it's okay. That's exactly what happened. That makes sense. Like if you thought it was a big deal, then you should have spoken up. because there's a party over there that's been very much damaged by all this. He's in fact, so we're gonna get back on that. Here I'm just gonna preview the next one. Some accountability has not taken place over there at Tallahassee. My attorneys and them, they can't produce the body cam, and I've nailed them on it, and I've told them that this is going to the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and they haven't hollered back at me, and it'll be a week on Monday. So they used to holler right back, especially when when I told them like a month ago, I sent like I'd run out of minutes, and I sent my attorney and CC'd Pat on the email. It says, hey, I was showing Pat how to get out of a conspiracy, and I mean that aside, but we'll get back to that. What was I talking about? Okay, hold on a sec. Let me go remember what I was